Oh, hi there. Lovely to see you again. I'm glad you have come back for another review session. This one is going to be on the chapter called Patriarchs. It is somewhat long, so if the bell rings interrupting our lesson, please make sure to check Mrs. York's website to view the rest of the video. We will have a quiz on this on Monday. Our first section is God's promise to Abram. Abram is the son of Terah. He was born in Ur. Terah moves his family to Haran. This is where Abram is called out of by God. We see here the establishment of the first monotheistic religion and the beginning of direct revelation. As long as Abram puts his faith in God, God will promise Abram 3 things. These 3 things are to make him into a great nation, to make his name great, and to bless those who bless him, and curse those who curse him. Abram goes to Haran with his wife Sarai and his nephew Lot. While on the way, the 2 groups traveling together, Lot's family and Abram and his people, they start to argue over land. The land just ain't big enough for the both of them. So the 2 groups go their separate ways. Later on, Abram gets word that Lot has been captured by a group of kings. So off Abram goes to save his nephew. On the way, Abram meets Melchizedek. Melchizedek is the king and priest of Salem. Abram offers Melchizedek 10% of his loot. This is called a tithe. They then sit down where Melchizedek breaks bread and wine and blesses Abram. We can see that Melchizedek foreshadows Jesus. Make sure to know that chart. Oh, and by the way, Abram saves Lot, who goes on to live in the area known as Sodom and Gomorrah. Abram and his wife Sarai are old, and Sarai is barren. So unfortunately they don't have any children. But then God decides to promise Abram that he will have children. What? He even goes so far as to change Abram's name to Abraham, which means father of many, and he changes Sarai's name to Sarah, which means queen mother. Well, God, way to add insult to injury. Since Sarah can't have kids, she gives her slave woman Hagar to Abraham to have sex with. They do, and a son named Ishmael is born. Remember that love triangle? Whoa. First Sarah abuses Hagar, then Hagar flees. Finally an angel appears to Hagar to tell her to go back and submit to Sarah, and that God will bless Ishmael. While God's promise won't get passed down through Ishmael, he will be blessed. God's covenant with Abraham is through circumcision. Abraham at 99 will be circumcised and have all of the men of his tribe circumcised as well. Circumcision is a permanent reminder of a covenant with God, as it is in the flesh. Remember how Sarah couldn't have a child? Well, 3 strangers decide to visit Sarah and Abraham. Who are these 3? Could they be the Trinity? They come and visit and tell Abraham Sarah will have a son. How in the world can this be? Sarah is 90 and Abraham is 100. Sarah laughs when she hears this. Come on now, wouldn't you? Well, guess what? A year later. Surprise! Here comes Isaac, the son of Abraham and Sarah. His name means laughter because Sarah laughed when she heard she would have him. What an amazing blessing God has given to these 2. Just look at how happy they are. Oh no, but what's about to happen? Remember Abraham's nephew Lot? Well, the poor guy is living in the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, which have become wickedly sinful. God decides he has had enough of the sinners, so he plans on destroying the cities. He tells Abraham of his plans. Abraham begs God not to destroy everyone. He questions him on whether he is going to wipe out the good with the wicked. He starts to bargain with God. What if you find 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 righteous people? God agrees that if he finds 10 righteous people he won't destroy the city. This shows that he would rather pardon than punish. However, it's a terrible shame that none other than Lot and his family are found. So now the cities must be destroyed. Lot is warned by angels that he must leave the city. Remember the angels? The townspeople wanted to give them a Sodom and Gomorrah welcome, but Lot offers his virgin daughter to them instead. So now Lot is told to leave the city and not look back. So off his family goes. But oops, his wife looks back because she can't leave that life and is turned to a pillar of salt. How unfortunate. So remember a few minutes ago we talked about the blessing of Abraham and Sarah's son Isaac. But I left off saying uh-oh. Well, here's what happened that's a big uh-oh. God comes to Abraham and tells him to take Isaac up to Mount Moriah and offer him as a burnt offering. Could you imagine? Here is the son Abraham waited 100 years for, and now God wants him to kill him. Abraham is an extremely faithful man and responds to God's orders without hesitation. Abraham takes Isaac up the mountain, ties him to the altar, raises the knife and, stop. Wait! An angel appears and tells Abraham not to kill Isaac. Because of Abraham's faith, God stops him. And because of his obedience, all nations will receive a blessing. The near sacrifice of Abraham foreshadows the sacrifice of Jesus. That's a very good chart that I suggest you know. Now some time has passed. Sarah has died. Abraham is close to dying, so he goes and has a servant find Isaac a wife. He brings back Rebekah and they instantly fall in love. They have 2 twin boys, Esau and Jacob. Esau is a hunter and hairy. He is his father's favorite. Jacob is a farmer and his mother's favorite. Because Esau is older, he is entitled to the birthright. Jacob decides he wants the birthright, so he steals it from Esau for a bowl of soup. Then he goes so far as to steal the blessing. He deceives his father into thinking he is Esau. He gets help from his mother covering his hands with fur so that he appear to be his brother. When his brother finds out, Esau goes out to kill Jacob, so Jacob flees to Haran, which is where Rebekah's family lives. While on his way, Jacob dreams of a ladder connecting heaven and earth with angels going up and down on it. This shows God is reaffirming his promise to Jacob. Jacob calls the place Bethel, which means house of God. After Jacob has arrived in Haran, he falls in love with his cousin Rachel. So her father Laban allows Jacob to marry his daughter as long as Jacob works for her. So he works for 7 years. At the end of 7 years, Jacob marries a veiled woman. But wait. The veiled woman isn't Rachel. It's her older, not so pretty sister Leah. The deceiver has gotten a taste of his own medicine and has been deceived by uncle. Laban says he just wasn't comfortable giving the younger daughter first, but Jacob can work 7 more years to marry Rachel. Which of course he does, because he loves her. So after 14 years he is married to both sisters, as well as having both of their maidservants. So with these 4 women, Jacob has 12 sons and 1 daughter. WH spoke about some specific sons, make sure to know them. And know that Dinah is the 1 daughter. After a few more years, Jacob takes his entire family and they leave Haran. While on their journey leaving Haran, Jacob wrestles with an angel and wins. The angel does however hurt Jacob's hip as a permanent reminder. The angel also changes Jacob's name to Israel. While also on their journey, Esau and Jacob meet up. But instead of a battle occurring, Esau actually forgives his brother. What a guy. Remember we said Jacob has 12 sons. His favorite son is Joseph. This is because he is the son of Rachel, his true love. Joseph is given a coat of many colors by his father. This obviously makes his brothers jealous. Joseph has the God-given ability to interpret dreams. He has 2 dreams about his family bowing down to him, one being that 12 sheaves of corn bow down to him, and the other being that the sun, moon, and 11 stars bow down to him. This angered his brothers tremendously. They get so angry at Joseph that they plot to kill him. But when they get out there, Reuben stands up for his brother and says no, don't kill him. He plans on later going back to get him, so they just throw him into the cistern. Judah decides to sell him into slavery. However, while Joseph was in the cistern, some Midianite traders came by and scooped him up, selling him into slavery in Egypt. Therefore, when the brothers come back, Joseph is gone and they have no idea where he is. Now they have to go back to their father and tell him Joseph is dead. But we know the truth. He really isn't. So let's travel to Egypt and see what Joseph is up to. So here we are in Egypt. Joseph has been sold into the household of Potiphar. However, Joseph is such a hard worker, and oh by the way, God is with him, that Potiphar puts him in charge of his household. So let's talk about Joseph for a second. Joseph was a strikingly handsome man. Now living also in the house was Potiphar's wife, who happened to notice how good-looking Joseph was, so she decides she wants to sleep with him. Joseph however won't do it because he is a gentleman. Potiphar's wife then frames him for rape, for which he is thrown into jail. While in jail, Joseph meets the baker and butler of Pharaoh. He interprets their dreams. You should know them. Later on, Joseph interprets 2 strange dreams that the Pharaoh has, indicating that there will be 7 years of harvest followed by 7 years of famine. Pharaoh decides to appoint Joseph governor of Egypt. This means that when the famine strikes Jacob and his sons, they have to come to Joseph to get food. Imagine the irony. When his brother come to Egypt for food, Joseph recognizes them but they don't recognize him. Make sure you know the 3 journeys, as well as the role of Simeon, Reuben, Judah, Benjamin, and the silver cup. To summarize, Joseph tests his brothers, reveals himself, and forgives them. This is a truly amazing story and my favorite. When Joseph's brothers discover that he is still alive, they go home to tell their father the good news. Imagine how happy he is, considering he thought his favorite son was dead. Joseph brings his entire family to live with him in Egypt, specifically in an area known as Goshen. They will live there in peace for 400 years. The book of Genesis ends here, with the death of Jacob and Joseph. One of the major themes we have just seen is forgiveness. It's a wonderful thing. We should try and emulate these people in our everyday lives. This is the end of Patriarchs. Please make sure to go over all this material for a quiz on Monday. We won't be together tomorrow as you have taekwondo. Have fun! Enjoy your weekend! Bye!